I think I'm going back. I think I'm going back to the things I learned so well in my youth. I think I'm returning to those days when I was young enough to know the truth.
I've just decided to get on a train and hopefully I'm on the right train. I'm going to Lingfield, which is a village I used to live before I lived in East Grinstead. Just past the station and thought, why not? So with any luck, I'll be in Lingfield in 10 minutes or so. Well, I just did something very impulsive, passing East Grinstead railway station. Instead of passing it, I got on a train, and I'm here in Lingfield, which is a little village in Surrey. It's not far from East Grinstead. It took about 5 minutes on the train, and although it's a lot quieter than East Grinstead, cars still interrupt me when I'm trying to talk to you. So anyway, I used to live here. This is the first place I moved to from Yorkshire when I was 5, so I lost my E-by-gum accent and developed a home counties drawl, which I have to this day, even though I now live in Yorkshire again. So I don't know if I'm going the right way. I'm trying to find my old house. It's down a lane called Coldharbour Lane, off a road called Common Road, and if I'm going in the right direction, I will be coming up to Common Road at some point. So I'm going to see my old house, walk through Jenner's Field, the way I used to walk to school, have a look at my old school and look at the village, get on the train and go back to East Grinstead. I think I'm going the right way. If my memory serves me correctly, down the end of this road I'll be turning left, hopefully. Well, there's no footpath here, so I'm doing what you should always do, I believe, when you're walking on a road where there's no footpath. Walk as close to the verge as you can and walk in the direction of the traffic, i.e. the traffic coming you this way so it can see you before it knocks you down. We're coming to a crossroads. Now, if the road at the end here is called Common Road, I think that's what it's called, I know I'm in the right place. It's a long, long time since I lived here, and I was just a boy. As I said, I was 5 when we moved from Yorkshire to Surrey, to this village, Lingfield. The house I'm going to show you, I did see a couple of years ago, and it looks nothing like it did. It was very overgrown, the garden. Whether it's been manicured since, I don't know. Well, that's good. My memory served me correctly. It's not Common Road, it's called Lingfield Common Road, but this is correct. I'm glad to see I've now got pavement. I don't think it's that far to walk, and I can't even look at this on Google Earth because the Google van didn't go down there. So I lived in a dormer bungalow. We just rented at that time because the price difference between houses in the north to the south, and it still is, a big difference. So when my family moved down, my parents couldn't afford to buy a place. So we rented a house, the house you're going to see shortly. And I was here a few years. I remember being here in 1977 because that's when the Queen's Silver Jubilee was, and I remember that. I remember being at school in Lingfield at the time. So the next road you'll see is the very green and leafy little back road that takes us up to my old house. Oh look, that's closed. La Frasca restaurant. Lingfield used to be quite a quiet village, certainly when I lived here, but it is on the flight path to Gatwick Airport, and every few minutes you can hear aeroplanes going by. I just recorded a really nice piece de camo with no traffic and looked at the thing I wasn't recording. Anyway, there's no traffic for a minute, it's nice and peaceful. We're coming up, I think, to the lane where my old house is situated. I won't speak much. Filming the old house, I'll dub that on after. But this lane I'm about to walk up is the lane I rode my bike on. I learned to ride a bike without stabilisers, my little rally budgie. My dad took the stabilisers off, and I was as pleased as punch to be able to ride a big boy bike at last. So this is the road leading to my house. And when I was a kid, this obviously seemed a lot longer than it does now. Yes, I distinctly remember my dad taking the stabilisers off my bike, and I first learned to ride around the garden, the front garden, where we had a pampas grass in the middle, which I found out recently that if you had a pampas grass in your front garden in the 70s, it meant you were swingers. But I think it was there when we moved in, so the previous owners were swingers. It's quite dilapidated now, this road. I can just see the house because ours is on the end, and it was actually called Trevan. So I assume it used to, or the current owners who rented it out were called Trevor and Anne. And when we moved there, there was only 2 bedrooms, and another bedroom was built on the back by the owners, obviously. We didn't pay for that. So I'll do a bit of filming, but not too much, because it's a bit, as I say, it's a bit creepy filming someone's house. I'm in a public road though, I'm on a public footpath, and obviously what I'm doing is not for nefarious, is that right, purposes. I'm just literally taking a walk down memory lane. Just stopped halfway. There's fields there I used to play in. I think there's some horses up there. I don't know where it was, but there was a house somewhere down there, one of my earlier memories. I picked some daffodils, it must have been in the spring. I picked some daffodils from the front garden of this particular house, not really knowing that it was stealing. Took them home and gave them to my mum, but the owner saw me and followed me and was shouting after me. So I gave them to my mum, who was very happy to receive them, and I ran upstairs and hid under my bed. Well, the owners of the daffodils spoke to my mum. I don't think I was told off too badly, because as a child I thought I was doing a nice thing. I was picking some daffodils for my mum. But what I was really doing was stealing daffodils for my mum, but I didn't know I was doing that. I thought they were just in nature, you know. This is quite a nice little place to be brought up in the middle, no passing traffic, apart from the noise of the aeroplanes. So it's the house there. It didn't used to have blue paint when we lived there. Now we're about to approach what used to be called, it might still be called this, Jenner's Field. So this is where I used to walk to school every day. Back in the day we didn't have our parents taking us to school, we walked to school. But as you'll see, it's not very far. Now, that house there, they won't live there now, but that belonged, there was a father and a boy. I never saw the mother, but he was a bit of an oddball. Even odder than I was as a child. And yes, he was strange. I don't even know his name. Let's just get through here. So this is Lingfield Wildlife Area. This didn't used to be like this. I don't think it even had a path. We just used to cut across the field to school. Yeah, this boy, he was very scared of the wrath of his father. Listen to those crickets. Wow. He was very scared of the wrath. I'm going to walk through here. There's a little path. If you can hear me above the noise and the noise of the aeroplanes. I don't know if I'm focusing on it because I can't really see. Anyway, yes, this little boy was petrified of doing naughty things and being told off by his father. So he would do something naughty, and we would say, myself and brothers probably, we would say, "Oh, we're telling your father," and the little boy would say, "Mercy, mercy," which is an odd thing for a little boy to say, but that's what he said. I think we got him to eat dog food once. The things children do. Dear me. I was here a couple of years ago with Mark, and we came here in his car. But when you're with someone, it's a bit awkward. I'm much enjoying this because I'm indulging in my memories, and I'm getting quite emotional, and I didn't get quite so emotional with Mark with me. But on my own, when I'm, in between filming, obviously it's bringing up a lot of memories. It's pretty quiet here for a Saturday afternoon. I'm going to have to find a local shop. I know there are some, and get myself another drink. I did pop into Sainsbury's and had a drink on the train. But this is completely unlike me. I just thought, I'll just get on a train and go to Lingfield. Because I didn't film any of it when I was here before. I took a few snapshots, but I didn't film anything. Not sure where this leads to, actually. Because I didn't used to come through here. As I used to cut right across to my school. Nice bit of shade anyway. Oh, it's lovely this. Nice weather as well. I don't feel any different though. I'm reaching an age, a big age, next year. To be honest, I don't feel any different now to how I felt when I was first walking through these woods. Not sure where it's going to exit, but exit it will, into another part of the field, I think. I don't know what's happening up here. Somebody playing music very loud. This is Surrey, it won't be a hooligan, it'll be some fate, possibly, I don't know. Not sure where I am, actually. Well, I know roughly where I am. I don't think I'll get lost here. Perhaps it's I don't know what it is. Must be an organised do. Well, it's having a nice peaceful walk. I'm going back the way I know. Because at the end of the field, there is my old school, my primary school. I think it was just called Lingfield Primary, possibly. I don't know. Let's quickly go away from that racket. To be honest, I need a pee-pee, but I daren't risk doing it in here, because as soon as I get my John Thomas out, a group of 20 school kids will probably walk along. That's my luck. So I will either hold it in or find a public convenience and do it there. I think that'll be for the best. It's a shame about the aeroplanes, but never mind. We need those, don't we, to get across the earth, to go to Benidorm and Marbella and Australia and New York, or wherever we want to go. If we've got the money, we can go there on the whole, can't we? I think this is the way I came. I don't know. And I think it's a different way. I don't know. No sense of direction. But if I get lost in this little village, then there's something wrong with me. Can't even see what's making all the noise. I think I'd have to get really close. They must be small crickets or... Oh yes, I've just seen one. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. They're very well disguised or camouflaged. I didn't like them as a child. It was this field or a field nearby that used to have wheat in it, and when the wheat was cut it used to get baled into big square or oblong bales. Nowadays it's often into sort of round, well not round, tubular type, you know, like Swiss roll cut up, you know what I mean, and then often wrapped in black plastic. But back in the day when we lived here, they were in big oblong bales. We used to make dens out of them. I don't know if the farmer didn't seem to mind. We used to stack them up and make little dens. And along these bushes here, I remember somewhere my brother or brothers built an underground camp. They dug out a big hole in the ditch, covered it with a big piece of board, and then disguised it. Another aeroplane. And then put old bit of carpet at the bottom, and inside you could go in and there was little cubby holes where we had candles. You see, that's what we did. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have all these mobile devices. We went out and played in nature, and I'm glad we did. I am glad I'm not a child now, and I think most people of my generation would not want to be a child again, even if it meant having their lives over again. I would not want to be a child now. I'm so glad. I grew up, we didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have iPads. I use all this stuff now, of course. You have to. But we grew up with simple pleasures, simple toys, family, and I am grateful that I grew up in the time I grew up in. This is a new addition, well, newish, well, it certainly wasn't here when I lived here. This little nature reserve was built. Oh, I think there's some goldfish in that pond. This is a sort of little, I think this was built for the millennium or something. This little nature reserve. The gate was locked. I had to walk over the sty. Just looks like a couple of stagnant ponds. But I suppose some frogs probably like this, and newts and toads and things. Little bench to sit on. Don't fall in, Rog. Oh, dragonflies. Just saw a dragonfly. I don't know if I filmed it. Yeah, something's going on in the village. You might be able to hear in the background. Some event. Right. Let's leave this. I'm always afraid of stepping on something. You know, but get out the way, little crickets or not tadpoles, grasshoppers. I'm sensible enough to actually put my walking shoes on They're not the height of fashion, but they're certainly the most appropriate footwear for what I'm doing today. I knew I'd be doing a lot of walking. I did quite a lot of walking yesterday and had my posh shoes on, which I regretted. So I thought, don't worry about fashion, Rog. Put your walking shoes on. Your feet will thank you for it. Made another detour. I think I've gone the wrong way though, but anyway, the sun's gone in a bit, which is good really, because it is rather warm in the sun, so it's been covered by a bit of cloud. Yes, something's going on there. I don't know if I'm going the right way. It all does look quite different. It was just sort of an open field. Now this might be where I need to be. I think it is, yes. Not sure what's happening there. But anyway, they're having a good time, whatever they're doing. Looks like it's some sort of fete going on. I've just had an aroma that I haven't smelt in years. That smell of sort of candy floss and cooking meat. Obviously I don't eat meat now, but it does take me back. Still smells the same. I wasn't able to come down here last time because it was a school day. So obviously they're using this car park. As you saw from that sign, there's a thing called Lingfest. So this is Lingfield Primary School. I can't remember much about this school, but I can remember standing in front of my classmates somewhere outside singing "Save Your Kisses for Me." Yes, I was quite the performer back then. So there we go. Can't film too much because people are watching. You have to always be so careful filming when there's children about, you know. I have absolutely no interest in filming little children, but I have an interest in seeing where this grown man used to be a child. The only teacher's name I remember was Mrs. Redlich. I think that was her name. And Mrs. Samways. 2 teachers. Probably long gone now. Possibly. Mrs. Samways may still be alive, but Mrs. Redlich, she was getting on back then. I'm now leaving Lingfield. I think I'm lost now. I thought I was going to the station. I don't think I'm going to get the train. I want to go now. From what was a peaceful, lovely little village, it's a noisy something hole, I have to say. There was some disgusting smell in the centre of the village that nearly made me vomit. Oh, I've got 5 minutes to catch a train. I think I'm lost, but I'm now on a road called Station Road. So as long as this road isn't too long, I might just get the train. Otherwise, it's about 50-minute wait. And you might be able to tell, oh, it's awful. I'm hot and bothered now. I don't think I'll be coming back to Lingfield. I feel so sorry if you live here, because you don't know what it used to be like. It used to be lovely. Now, no peace anywhere. Well, there is now, but it will be short-lived, because a car's going to come down here in a minute, or an aeroplane is going to go over my head. Right, I can't talk. I've got to get that train. Well, I managed to get the train by the skin of my teeth. I've got a stitch. I haven't had one of those in years.
We are now approaching Dormans. Please mind the gap between the platform and the train. Welcome aboard the Southern service to East Grinstead. The next station is East Grinstead. Welcome aboard the Southern service to East Grinstead. The next station is East Grinstead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching East Grinstead where this service will terminate. Mind the gap between the train and the platform when alighting, and please remember to take all your personal belongings with you when leaving the train and keep them with you at all times. Thank you for traveling Southern This is East Grinstead and we found our destination. All change please. Thank you.
I'm going back. I'm